Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Moby. I'm Dr. Moby, and today we are honored with a great guest, Michael Mezmer, with us. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, and so glad to be with you today.
Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Michael is actually a certified hypnotherapist. So, let's learn from him his experience as well as scope of hypnotherapy. So, tell us about yourself, sir.
Well, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a certified stress management consultant. I have a degree in psychology, and I'm a nationally published author. I did my initial training from the Hypnotism Training Institute in Glendale, California, and I took about 500 hours of training on that, and then did an internship after that following the initial training. So, yeah, I'm really skilled in hypnotherapy, and it's a wonderful tool to help people.
Okay, very nice, very nice. And so tell us a little bit about, people who are not familiar with hypnotherapy. What does it entail?
Well, the great thing is I'm sure you know, Dr. Moby, but the perfect thing about hypnosis is that it is self-hypnosis. In other words, it's a tool that helps people empower themselves to make positive change in their lives. The deal is that we all have this gift that was given to us internally from when we were born. And it's just we haven't learned how to harness it. It's a natural ability to relax. And for instance, a very common example would be you're driving on the highway and you're driving maybe a long distance. All of a sudden you get there and wonder, how did I drive this far? Well, that's self-hypnosis. That's the natural process because you're listening to the radio or thinking about something that opens your imagination. You're relaxed. You're in your car where you feel safe and you go into that hypnotic state. So it's a very natural ability. It's just we simply have not learned to unlock that ability because in school, people teach us everything that should go in our minds, but they don't tell us how to control our minds ourselves. And again, hypnosis is not about the hypnotist controlling someone's mind. It's about you learning from the hypnotist how to control your own mind and continue using this skill throughout your life in a positive way.
Mm. And a lot of people actually they might have seen in the movies, and let's ask you a few of those questions. So, do you think with hypnotherapy is like that that you are in front of any subject and you kind of control their thoughts and tell them you're gonna be awake, sleep, and so forth? Is that true, or is that just a little more like dramatic?
Well, I will tell you that hypnotherapists and hypnotists in general, and the process of hypnosis has a bad rap from way back in 1800s, but 1919. That was the first movie that was actually the first monster movie or horror movie was called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. And it was made back in Berlin between World War I and World War II. And it featured a hypnotist on stage in a carnival, and he had a somnambulist, a person in a coffin that was hypnotized 24 hours a day. And what happened would be he would bring him out in the show. Then that somnambulist would predict who would die that evening. Then that somnambulist would go out and kill that person in that evening. Well, that continues to this very day. I'm sure you may have been familiar with that recent movie called Get Out, where they hypnotized someone and took control of their minds. So we have a bad rap because of all that, because of also Trilby, the book that was made in France in the 1857, something like that. So because of all the literature, the films, the TV shows, people have a vast misconception about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. So the deal is that no, you will never be forced by a hypnotist to do anything. Now, I'm sure you know, because you're involved in this field to a sense, that there is a way to do that. For instance, in Russia, where they do, if you've seen the movie Manchurian Candidate, not the more recent one, but the original film, they can use hypnotic drugs with natural hypnosis, and then you do lose your moral beliefs and your boundaries. But in natural hypnosis, which would be something that I would do with hypnotherapy in a clinical setting, where I work at the Unger Medical Group here in Rancho Cucamonga, in that situation, you're never going to accept any information you don't want to, because you have a critical factor of your mind that will step in and will kick that information out. So in other words, in answer to your question, yes, people have that misconception because of all of the media through the years, decades actually. But in reality, the reality of hypnosis is it's a natural process, and it's something we all do naturally. So even when you're working with a hypnotist, they're only there to guide you. They aren't controlling you in any sense of the word.
Mm. So basically, they guide you, they analyze your thoughts, and they strengthen your uh, inner thoughts and kind of help you to analyze yourself, pretty much, right?
Yeah, with hypnosis, unlike psychiatry or psychologies or psychologists and that, we don't have a roadmap. Okay, we're not there to make judgments or roadmaps or have an advanced idea of where we're going to lead you in the process. What
Mm.
hypnosis or hypnotherapy is about is you healing yourself. So you're actually the person that's going to do this. You already have the answers deep within you in your subconscious. But we kind of just help you to guide you through that journey while you're hypnotized. Now, I will tell you that everything essentially goes back to many of the issues we have. They go back to age 1 through 7 or 8 in our lives. That's when we have the uncritical part of our mind open to all suggestion from people of authority. So here's an example. You might have been driving with your parents when you're little and they're playing the radio and you're singing along with a song. And your mom and dad turn around and say, "Hey, would you cut that noise out?" Well,
Mm.
that goes into your subconscious. It makes you feel that you shouldn't speak out, maybe, or that you shouldn't be outgoing, or that you shouldn't sing, or any number of reactions you had to that event. And it goes around like a broken record in there until you're able to go back to the subconscious and clear it out. Because after age 7 or 8, we develop the critical factor of our mind. So we get a block there, and that stays in there. So the deal is able to step aside that block, go in there, have you look at it as an adult, reassess it as an adult, learn that it no longer controls you as an adult, not take the memory away, but help you to be now in control of that memory so it doesn't continue affecting you daily in your daily life.
Mm. So what you're saying is when people hear few things, it might go in their conscious and subconscious, and sometimes that can come back, right? And then it can affect your behavior. Okay. So also tell.
Yes, because those suggestions you accepted as a young person.
Okay.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, Michael, I think probably we missed you. Maybe the connection was not so great. So also tell us a little bit. I have a few more questions from the audience coming up. One is why people are so hesitant to be hypnotized.
Well, again, I think it's the worry that you're going to lose control, say something you don't want to say, you don't want to do, or that it's going to. And if there were negative effects with hypnotherapy, it would no doubt be on the cover of every National Enquirer and tabloid across the country over and over again. You will see an odd story that pops up every now and again that has no basis, but um, in general, except for fictional works, you have not seen a lot of negativity in regard to hypnosis process and hypnotherapy because it is a natural process that's totally safe. And again, it's empowering the person to be their own best cure and to help them strengthen their lives and move ahead positively.
Mm. Would you like to share some of the interesting thoughts or cases which you had? Any particular case that brings to your mind? Micro.
Sure. Of course, I don't talk about the people because we're not to do that. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I said, and
Yep.
you can
So,
just,
so yes,
you can,
I
yeah,
had
just
a lot
talk
of
about the topic.
experience with.
Yeah, if you can just talk about the topic, that's fine. You don't have to mention names. That's fine.
Okay. So, as far as.
I think, Michael, we
Okay.
asked about some of the cases, interesting cases.
Yes, I am here. Okay. So we were talking about interesting cases or subjects with hypnosis. One of the most interesting things that happened in therapy is I was at an interesting place to fly out of sometimes. They have big thunderstorms. And
Mm.
so what happened was that on that flight, a lady was getting very ill from the thunderstorms going up and down. And so I offered to help her. And they had seats that faced one another. So I was on those seats. I said, "I'll be happy to help you." And so I hypnotized her in flight. And again, we were going up and down these thunderstorms, very rough, probably 50 or 100 feet. And so I hypnotized her for about 8 minutes, spent time with her flying, happy, congenial, and had a wonderful flight. In fact, everyone said, "How do you do that?" So it was a great experience in that respect. Psychological aspect, I've also been able to help people go back and clear situations from their youth in a 2-hour session. So some people have had radical change in a positive way in just a very short amount of time. Once they realize what their issue is, clients to take more than 3 or 4 sessions, but sometimes in one session we can accomplish great things.
So you were able to help this lady because she was getting panic because of this turbulence, and you were able to help her, right? Is that?
Okay. So in regard to the COVID issue, right now we're dealing with the physical part of COVID, which is very serious, obviously. But what's going to happen is in the coming year, in the next decade or more, people are going to have already are having major issues from it psychologically because of the distance, not being with people, also just fear, because what in hypnotherapy a lot comes down to fear of something. There's basically 5 fears we deal with in hypnotherapy, including rejection, sickness, aging, poverty, death. All of those are out of the COVID situation. And so with that happening, hypnotherapy is a very rapid way of helping people deal with some of those very serious issues and help them. So it's going to be one of those things that's going to be an ongoing issue. We may have vaccines, we may be getting better health-wise, but psychological health, mental health-wise, it's going to be a challenge for the coming decade or two.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a few tips or things which anyone can do to help calm their anxiety. Michael, any common tips?
Well, part of it is try to keep applying yourself to real life situations. Yeah. One thing I would suggest is try not to isolate yourself. It's hard because of the way that our situation is right now, but do try to keep contact with friends. Try to keep a normal as possible lifestyle. It's easy to slip into falling into a shell, hiding away, but especially in California and some of these places where we've been shut down since the beginning of this situation. So it's important to keep out with people. Also, sleep is so critical because since we're not as active, we tend not to sleep as much and not get as good sleep. And in doing so, there's a lot of things physically that become challenging because we don't get the sleep we need. And also, every day have a program. Don't slide in when you're locked down like we have been here. Don't slide into being, I wouldn't say lazy, but not being yourself. If you normally like to get up early, take a shower, get ready for work, continue to do that. Don't be on an endless vacation, because for your mind, for psychological aspects, following a normal everyday schedule will help you be healthier as well. So contact friends, keep in constant contact, discussion, all of that. Keep on a regular schedule and really watch your sleep habits. Even though you can't, if you're not working, you can stay up late and get up late. Try not to. Be in the schedule your life has always been, keep in those cycles, and that way it'll help you to keep mentally healthier.
Okay. And that is a very important point, is to have the same routine, because it doesn't matter with this COVID or not, because, we have to wake up on time and try to get on bed in a similar time, because the problem is once you change that and people think it's vacationing, or we call social jet lagging, they change their routine over weekend and Monday they want to go back, and that's not possible. A lot of studies point out that if you want a longer life, you need to maintain a disciplined one, especially with sleep and wake cycle. You can't just be in bed all the time and thinking it's a vacation. The problem is, if you mess up the sleep cycle, then a lot of other cycles actually follow through with it, including weight gain and including your, health really goes down. So there's a range of sleep which is optimal for body. Once you go across that, Um, if you get less, also is bad. If you get more, actually, the mortality rate goes up tremendously. And how it does that, probably my guess is has to do with rhythms. The hormonal balance is so important for body, and there are certain periods in sleep where growth hormone is secreted, where your testosterone fluctuates and so forth. So all those hormones, which are so essential for your body, are actually timed. So I tell there's a cell, there's a mechanism in the body.
Right.
Each cell has a clock. So those are gonna be disturbed. Very well said. Very well said. So tell us a little bit also about some of the other things which COVID has um, improved. I know a lot of things have not improved. Anything it has improved. So Michael, anything you think came
Well,
out
I'll
good
say
out of it?
this, by having some of these issues pop up, well, I think one thing is we've all learned a lot of new skills. That's for sure. We're using Zoom and online. That's a
Mm,
good thing
yeah.
because it's really wonderful to be able to connect with people around the world, which is very exciting for me.
Mhm.
But also, I would say that because of COVID, people started to realize they've had time to sit back and look at their lives and reassess them. And that can be difficult. But on the other hand, it's helping them to perhaps seek out help to find solutions to issues they've never even faced. Because in daily life, we're so busy. We're so busy doing everything that we do that we sort of shove aside our inner feelings. And so, being with this COVID thing, the isolation, we've had to reassess ourselves, look at ourselves as human beings. And in doing so, I've seen a great uptick in people coming to me for therapy because they're seeking out solutions to those new things that they really haven't ever had to or wanted to face. So I guess that's a positive, Dr. Moby, in many ways, because then they're able to finally release those issues and have a more productive life. Now, in the past, because we're so busy running around, busy with our schedules, we just ignore those things in the back of our minds. And maybe that's not a good thing ultimately, because they still play upon us in everything we do. So, yeah, I would say that through this situation, people are now realizing and being more in contact with themselves and their inner selves. And in doing so, they seek out help or so that. So, in the end, it could be a positive for everyone.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit about your Zoom sessions. You're doing special Zoom sessions for COVID, right? For COVID hypnosis.
Right. Yes. I have a program. Yes, I have a program called COVID Gnosis Hypnotherapy, the ultimate pandemic relief system. And it's a 4 set. And the session is just talking together. We just have a nice chat and seeing if you feel comfortable and the person feels comfortable, the client feels comfortable, and finding a little bit about each other. And then the other 3 sessions are each an hour apiece. And the first one deals with stress and anxiety, which is one of the top 3 issues that are coming from COVID. So we deal with stress and anxiety in the first one. And then we do the second one, which is also about sleep, which we were discussing, you and I, but it's about sleep and having better sleep and better quality of sleep and better depth of sleep. And then the third one is about confidence building, because everybody's been out of touch with so many of the things they normally do. Now it's hard to go out and have the confidence to be the person they were prior to going into the lockdown and the COVID. So we deal with that. And along with that, if need be, we deal with weight issues for those clients that want to do that. Now, each session, following the session, I give an audio download, self-hypnosis audio, because again, I'm teaching people to use this skill called self-hypnosis. So they'll get the audio to keep practicing and reinforcing each session. They get a new one. So it's a great program in that it's very rapid. You'd spend 4 hours of your life total. And in doing that, you will have some great changes in your life in a positive way. And
Oh,
you'll gain a new skill that will empower you in the future.
okay. Also, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts? Tell us about the program for COVID hypnosis. Where they can, I know your website is covidgnosis.weebly.com, right? how can they
Yeah.
get hold of? So would you tell about your program? What would they get with getting you on the website? Would you like to share some of
Yes.
the?
If they go to covidgnosis.weebly.com, as you mentioned, Dr. Omis.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Michael. I think we have.
So yes, if they go, oh, okay, the website, they'll see sample videos of how quickly hypnosis can work, so they understand the process a little better. I'll be talking a little bit on the website on videos about the program, so it'll give them a little more information. And also, there's a layout on there that will give them examples of how the program, what we do in each session, and also a lot of background on me, because that way they'll understand the quality of what they're going to get. But my goal, Dr. Moby, as I mentioned, online hypnotherapy with Zoom or Skype. I do either. They're very, very good and they work really well. A lot of people don't realize in the older days, and I didn't think of it till we got into this COVID situation, because I'm one-on-one live in person. But actually, hypnotherapists routinely used to do hypnosis and hypnotherapy sessions over the phone back in the old days. So that's what drove me to buy Zoom, and I've had incredible outcomes with it. Actually, Zoom is great for a lot of reasons. One is people go into hypnosis much easier over Zoom because they're in their own home where they feel safe and secure. And so a lot of the preconceptions about worrying what will happen in the session, what will the hypnotist do, people get past that quickly because they're no longer in the situation where they're in your office working with you. They're remote, so they feel very safe and secure. So hypnosis works actually in some ways much more powerfully via Zoom or Skype. So yes, we do it all by Skype and Zoom. In fact, I was with in Berlin yesterday, Berlin, Germany. So that's why I can present it for a much more reasonable cost, because I don't have to have people come. I don't have to go to distance to work with people, and they don't have to come a distance to work with me. So the Zoom method works really well. It's probably one of the best ways I've ever done hypnotherapy, and I really enjoy it. And the important thing is the clients enjoy doing it via Zoom.
Okay, so tell us also about some of them. Do you have to use any medications or no? Do you offer pharmacotherapy with it or no?
No, no, I am not a doctor by any sense of the word. We are lay practitioners. That's why we're people that come to me as clients and not patients. I don't issue any drugs of any kind. As I mentioned, it is self-hypnosis. It's a natural process of relaxation. And so, no, all now, hey, Dr. Moby, and people should understand, I don't deal with mental health issues in the sense of I only work with mentally well, don't work with mentally what they would call challenged people. My clientele are fully aware of, and then I help them with those issues.
Okay.
So that's why there's no dream. I have a client that is maybe a professional business or something else
Okay.
that wants assistance.
Okay, so people can check your website and they can book your sessions. And so normally you offer 4 sessions, 6 sessions, or how many sessions?
Well, Dr. Moby, I can do one session. The person in Berlin yesterday, we did 1 2-hour session. So it depends on you, but if they want the full COVID treatment, which deals with all the major issues I mentioned, then it takes 4 sessions. But otherwise, I don't do more than 4, and I'll tell you why. I learned from my mentor, Gil Boyne, who was probably the most famous lay practitioner of hypnotherapy in history. I learned from him that if you can't help a client with hypnosis and hypnotherapy in 3 or so sessions, then you're probably not doing something right. But again, you're helping them to find the solution, and it's a continued process that they will continue doing on their own after the sessions are long done. So the deal is that, yeah, I can do, depending on the situation, we can do one session and just work on a particular issue, or we can do the COVID-nosis and do 4 sessions and deal with all of those 3 top issues I mentioned.
Okay, great. And thank you for coming to our show. And people, I'm sure, are intrigued by hypnotherapy. They'll check out your website and see. So they can just Google that website and check that out for you, and book your session and see how it goes. So good news is they can do it over Zoom. They don't have to come in person. And that can really help a lot of issues with COVID. So thank you for educating us. Take care. And any final thoughts or message you have for our audience? Michael, any final
I
thoughts?
just would like to say, first of all, thank you for having me, and my apology for the internet situation today. But thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. And like Walt Disney said, I always like to share this with my clients. If you can dream it, you can do it. And through hypnosis, you can take that dream and make it a reality. So I wish everyone a great day. Dr. Moby, thank you so much. I appreciate being here. And I'm wishing everyone a great 2021.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.